meant to do that.
Sure you did. Hi, I'm Gator, and today I'm nerding, as you can tell by the chalkboard. Third wheeling today is this blue line, that blue line, and the corner of my drafting table because I don't have a tripod. Today's topic of nerdment is synesthesia, which sounds like a big scary disease, but it's really not. In fact, you probably know someone that has it. The name comes from the Greek words syn, meaning union, and aesthesis, meaning sensation. Which is fitting, because synesthesia is a neurological condition where stimulating one sense produces experiences in a completely different sense. Synesthesia can be either developmental or acquired. Developmental synesthetes are born with the condition and tend to think that everyone has it, while acquired synesthetes are people who may have gone blind or experienced brain injuries. They acquire the condition later in life. There are all sorts of specific types of synesthesia. There are people who see sounds, people who taste words, people who feel other people being touched, people who see specific numbers as having a map in space, and a whole bunch of other ones too. We're going to focus mostly on grapheme-color synesthesia, which is when specific numbers, words, and letters have specific colors. Now let's look at some statistics here, shall we? There's not much, because this condition is still relatively unknown, and we don't know much about it. It used to be perceived as quite rare, with 1 in 2,000 known to experience symptoms back in 1999. That number rose to 1 in 300 in 2001, 1 in 50 in 2006, 1 in 27 in 2013, and I don't actually know what the statistic is for today in 2020, but I'm sure it's higher than that yet. Synesthetes are also 6 times more likely to be female than male. Synesthetes are also shown to have a better memory. They can recall, on average, 127 pieces of information from a past experience. No, you have written that wrong. Are you going to change that? Can you change that, please? Please fix it. Thank you. Non-synesthetes, in comparison, can only recall about 39 facts from any specific point in their life. About 40% of synesthetes have a first-degree relative, like a sibling or a parent, with synesthesia, like my friend Maze and her 2 younger sisters. All 3 of them are grapheme-color synesthetes. And here's what they see with the letters and numbers and colors and stuff. That statistic led people to believe that the cause of synesthesia was somehow biological, but as of yet, we don't actually know exactly what causes it. We know it's automatic and unlearned, not hallucinatory or metaphorical, and it's different for every individual, even between Maze and her sisters. That doesn't mean that there aren't theories, though. There could be an overabundance of neural connections or a cross-wiring in the brain, perhaps due to less neural pruning in utero. Maybe we're all born with it, and most of us just lose those synesthetic connections as we get older. Maybe there's more myelin, which is basically neural WD-40, or gray or white matter in the sensory areas of the brain. Maybe there's something in the limbic system, or the lizard brain, which wants a baby apparently. I don't know why I wrote that. Maybe there's some disruption of the information being carried back from the sensory areas of the brain. Maybe it's a cognitive fossil left over from before sensory pathways were separated. Not sure why I'm struggling to draw a fossil, but okay. Maybe it's heightened activity in mirror neurons, which are really heckin' cool, by the way. There's a podcast that I'll link to if you want to learn more about that. Hallucinogenic drugs and some organic diseases can produce a temporary synesthetic effect, but don't do drugs just to be a synesthete for the day. It's not worth it. There was a study done in 2012 to see if it was possible to learn grapheme-color synesthesia without going blind or experiencing a brain injury. The test subjects read, on average, about 100,000 words each, with colored letters. By the end, they had developed a relationship between the letters and the colors, but it wasn't perfect. So if you want to be a grapheme-color synesthete, I hope you like reading and have the patience to find some specially colored books to read. Let's talk diagnosis for a moment here. Synesthesia can be mistaken as a sign of a greater mental illness, such as schizophrenia. It's not, though, so don't worry. If you're unsure, there's a test that I'll link to in the description that you can take. For Grapheme-Color Synesthesia, you can do this pretty nifty thing where you write a whole bunch of S's and then scatter a couple 5s in there. Grapheme-Color synesthetes will instantly be able to tell where the 5s are because they're a different color. Most people also experience a milder version of these connections, like associating higher notes with brighter colors and lower notes with darker colors, or happiness with yellow and sadness with blue. There's also an anatomical difference between the brains of synesthetes and non-synesthetes, and wow, I'm just truly spectacular at drawing brains. A lot of synesthetes use their synesthesia creatively or to help with their job. For example, there's a wine connoisseur that smells in colors and shapes, which helps him analyze wines. Or the chef that tastes emotions and then creates dishes with similar flavors. Most of the time, if you asked a synesthete if they wanted to get rid of their condition, the answer would be no. However, there are downsides. Someone who tastes words might have a hard time liking someone if their name tastes strange. Someone who tastes sounds and colors might have a hard time eating at restaurants. Or someone who can feel when others are touched might have a hard time watching horror movies. Which doesn't seem all that bad, but I'm really not a huge horror fan, so I'm probably biased. No two synesthetes have the same experience. In fact, we can't even be sure whether every human experiences red in the same way. So maybe the existence of synesthesia just goes to show that our senses aren't that reliable at all. I've included my sources and some links to further reading in the description if you're interested. And then I'll head back into the hole that I've been in all of quarantine. Ciao for now.